Hello, grade 6. For today's grammar, we're going to keep moving through this unit. It's a little bit different than the last few lessons. We were talking about modal verbs. Today we're going to talk about the passive. So, passive expresses what happens to the subject. So, when we talk about the passive, it can be in the present tense or the past tense. It's not it's not a matter of tenses. It's a matter of how you want to say what you're saying. So let's look at this comparison here between the active, which is just what we normally use, versus the passive. So the active here, the girl made the sandcastle. So this is in the past tense. So we'll keep it in the past tense when we change it to passive. But we just kind of move around our words and then we add in the verb be. So the girl made the sandcastle. We want to change that to passive. We would say the sandcastle, our subject, then we show what happened to the subject by adding the verb be. This is in the past tense, so we say was, made, and there's our same verb, by the girl. When we use by with the passive, it shows who is doing the action. So when we would normally say this in the active tense, the person who is doing the action came first. The girl made the sandcastle. So we just kind of flip this. The sandcastle was made by the girl. So we need to add some more things to do the passive tense. Let's look at some more examples. I know it sounds a little confusing at first, but you should get the hang of it after some practice. So, like I said before, it uses the form be, the verb be, and you can also add not if it's not true, plus the past participle. So, we have a lot of examples of past participle here. I'll explain that a little further after we look at these examples. So, we have our subject, the puppies. Now this time we're in the present tense. We're not saying it in the past, it is happening now, but we're going to use the passive. So we're going to change our verb into are, because we have puppies, more than one, and then our past participle, raised. The puppies are raised. Then we need to figure out by who? By their mother. The puppies are raised by their mother. Now we have another one in the past tense. The letter was written by me. Now, if you said that normally, you would say, I wrote the letter. But if someone asks, who wrote this letter? The letter was written by me. Okay, here's a bunch of common past participles. So refer back to these boxes if you're not sure. So let's look at some examples. You're not going to have, there's some verbs that you just won't be using in this tense. So you'll often use these ones right up here. So you can just check here. So play, if we have the past participle, is played. Also, you'll notice here, all 5 of these are the exact same in the past tense as they are in the past participle. So you don't need to change anything. You just need to add that form of the verb be. So played, invited, sold, built, found. And these ones, they do change. So you can see the past tense and then the past participle. Given, seen, broken, stolen. I guess this one's the same here. Hit, and hit. Doesn't change at all. So just refer back to this. You're not going to remember them right away. So look at the boxes if you're not sure. Let's try some together. Match the active sentences with the passive sentences. So you just need to see, you're going to match up which has the same subjects and the same verbs, the same action. So let's see. Anne painted the picture. I was hit by a soccer ball. The picture was painted by Anne. There we go. We have the picture, and then we have the person who's doing it. So this will just kind of show you how to jump between the two. So you get some more examples before you start writing them on your own. So you can match the rest of those. Then we need to circle the correct words. Now, these are all going to be in the passive. No, they're not all going to be in the passive. You need to read the rest of it to see if it's passive or active. So I'll do one that's passive and one that's active, and only have 2 more to do. So number 1, the subway uses by many people, or the subway is used by many people. Now, I see by, and then a subject or person, then I know that it is passive. So I know that I need to have that some form of the verb be, and then I'll have my past participle. So the subway is used by many people. Now also, just reading that, the subway uses by many people. That doesn't even make any sense. So also a good trick, just read it out loud. Okay, now I'm also going to do number 4, because I know that's active. He wrote a book for children. He is written a book for children. Now, he is the person that it would have been by him. But it's at the beginning, so I know that I'm in the active tense. Now, if it would have been at the end, a book for children is written by him, then we would use is written, we would use the passive. But it's all about the order. If you see your person or subject first, then you need to use active. If you see by, then blank, you need to use the passive. So you have 2 more to figure out there. Then you can keep scrolling or keep listening. I'll keep scrolling. All right, so now we have another example of the passive. We don't use by when we don't know who does an action or who it is not, or it is not important to mention. So before, up here, we always used by, the agent. But if we don't know who that is or what that is, or it's not important, we don't need it. So let's see some examples. My jewelry was stolen. Now, if someone stole something from you, you probably don't know who it was. You might, but in this example, you don't. So they have in parentheses here, by someone. You don't need to say that. We don't know who stole it. You don't need to verbalize that it was someone. Obviously, someone took it. It wasn't no one took it. So you can simply just say, my jewelry was stolen. You don't need to add in this information because you don't know. Another example here, the car was repaired. Now, you know that someone repaired it, a mechanic, someone who works on cars, but it's not important who repaired it, unless maybe it's your good friend who's repairing it for you, or your uncle. Now then, I would probably include it. But the important thing is that the car was repaired. You don't need that extra information. I still understand what you're saying without you telling me that it was by a mechanic. Well, of course it was by a mechanic, because I don't know how to repair a car. I don't know how to repair a car. So not important information. So let's see some more examples in these problems here. Choose and complete the sentences. The most beautiful dresses blank in Italy these days. So all of these are going to be in the past participle. So you need to decide how to conjugate that form of the verb be, and then add the past participle right here. So the most beautiful dresses blank in Italy these days. Find, hold, make, send, build. Well, you can make dresses, but this is not yet in the past participle form. So I need to change it to that. So let's see how we would do that. The most beautiful dresses, if I have more than one dress, are, now remember our forms of the verb be is, are. Then I need to change this into the past participle. The past participle of make is the same just as the past tense. Made. The most beautiful dresses are made in Italy these days. Now, how did I know that it was present tense instead of past tense? The most beautiful dresses were made in Italy these days. Look at this, these days. That means now. Yesterday, today, a couple days in the future. It's not talking about a long time in the past. If it was, then I would say were, but it's talking about right now. So you need to pay attention to when it's happening. A few days ago, last year, yesterday, once a month. Okay. Let's do one more, because I know this is a little tricky. The email blank blank to me a few days ago. Email, find, hold, send, bill. Send emails, okay? So we're gonna send it. It was a few days ago. That's in the past. So the email was, and we need to change send into the past tense, sent. The email was sent to me a few days ago. Okay, so I want you to try out the rest of these. Pay attention to when it's happening, if it's in the past or the future, and then you need to change that verb be. Now, if it's present, we have is or are. That's present. If we have past, if we want to jot this down somewhere, or it is in some of the past lessons that we've done if you want to check, but if not, here you go. If it's past, if it's one thing, was. If it's more than one thing, were. Okay, so see beautiful dresses, more than one, are. The email is one, and it's in the past tense, it was. All right, so finish the rest of those. Then you can keep listening to me. Read and complete the passive sentences. Edison invented the light bulb. So you have it in the active, you need to change it to the passive. And these ones all have, or some of them have by, some of them have it in parentheses, meaning it's not necessary, like we just talked about. So the light bulb, here's our verb, invented. So, well, I just erased it all here, but I know it in my head. The light bulb, this is something that was invented a long time ago, right? So it's in the past. So one thing was, and then my past participle of invented is the same as the past. The light bulb was invented by Edison. Now the next one, I'll just give you a hint, but you can do the rest. People speak English in many countries. That's true now and will continue to be true. So that's present tense. So now this one is not the same when you change it to the past participle. So change speak to the past tense. Let's see if that's on here. Little chart here. No, it's not, but it's very similar to broke and broken. Speak, spoke. Okay, there's your hint there. Okay, so you just need to change it from the active to the passive. Okay, now here's some more. Choose and complete the passive sentences. So we have some options here. Let's decide if we need to make it passive. The national park blanked by many tourists these days. So we have by, so I know it is going to be the passive tense. What do tourists do in a national park? Give, visit, make, or sell. Visit it, of course. So the national park was, oh, excuse me, these days is visited. The national park is visited by many tourists these days. Now, not all of them, because it says choose, not all of them are going to be passive. Some of them will be active. That was a lie. They're all gonna be passive. Sorry about that. Now, they're not, that's why I got confused. They're all going to be passive, but not all of them tell you by who, but they are all passive. So you need to decide if it's in the past or the present by looking at the time, and then you can decide and change it to the passive tense. Sorry if I confused you. All passive. All right, let's keep moving. Look at the pictures and complete the sentences. So we have some pictures here, and then we have some verbs here. So number one will match number one. The road and it's blocked. It's happening now, so I know it's present. The road is, change this to the past. The road is blocked by an elephant. Now add ed. Write that in. Then look at the rest of your pictures to help you. Okay, now we have some dialogues. Was the movie Titanic popular? You're going to change, or you're going to have these all in the passive tense. So they give you the verb here, and you need to add, of course, the verb be, and then make it past, or excuse me, not past, passive. So was the movie Titanic popular? Yes, it was. It was, now we know this is past because it already told us, was seen by many people. All right, so the rest of the information will tell you if it's present or past. Okay, last page, let's keep moving. Grammar for writing. Here's some information about the Olympics. Choose and complete the sentences. So we'll do one together. The Olympic flag, blank by Pierre de Coubertin in 1914. This is a long time ago, so it's going to be the past. The Olympic flag was give, cancel, create, hold, introduce. In Olympic flag, someone special gets to hold that. So past tense of hold is held. The Olympic flag was held by Pierre de Coubertin in 1914. Here's another one. It was used for the first time in 1920. So you can do the rest. These are all in the past tense. Let's look at all these dates. All past tense of the verb be, and then you need to change these verbs. And last but not least, our 5 mistakes. There are 5 mistakes. Pick them out, write the numbers, and correct them. Okay? All right, so this one's a little tricky. So if you're not quite sure, check back in those boxes and just refer back, follow along with me so you have a couple examples as you go. And if you have any questions, you can just ask me at the end, okay?